Hey guys, I'm back with another video. This is protocol number 12, right out of the 24 protocols of the Elders of Zion. And as you know, I've been going through a series of videos with the Communist Manifesto and the protocols showing you inside these documents that's been around for quite some time, relating it how it is relevant today. Things that's happening today can be found in these documents. So protocol number 12 have to do with the press. And I'm going to go through it real quick. I do not want to take too much time because these videos are already long. I hope it's very educational for you and you're learning a lot from it. So to get into it, protocol number 12, 1, the word freedom, which can be interpreted in various ways, is defined by us as follows. Freedom is the right to do what which the law allows. Right? Freedom is what is the right to do what which the law allows. This interpretation of the word will at the proper time be of service to us, because all freedom will thus be in our hands, since the laws will abolish or create only that which is desirable for us according to the aforesaid program. Right? So this is their definition of freedom, because freedom means a lot of things. Freedom of the press, rights, freedom to do whatever you will. We discussed that in the other protocols where it talks about this freedom that we have, right? We want to be free to be able to have as much capital as possible as we can. Freedom, it's this liberty, this freedom. We feel that if we're not making enough, if we're not earning enough, that we describe and we discuss in other videos in the Communist Manifesto. If you haven't watched those other videos, please go ahead and watch those other videos because I break down the proletarian and the communists and how they think about the average worker, just like you and I, who's working. And we're working for a corporation or whosoever you're working for. Now here it says in 3, it says, we shall deal with the press in the following way. What is the part played by the press today? That's a question. Now listen carefully. It said it served to excite and inflame those passions which are needed for our purpose, or else it served selfish ends of parties. What does that mean? That the press is created to benefit them, not us. A lot of us get our news from ABC, CNN, right? Fox and some of these PBS and some of these other news channels. These news channels are basically owned and controlled by them. And when I say them, we could say that these are the unseen hands. That's basically crafting the information and feeding it to you. And so as you watch TV and you listen to what is being said on ABC or NBC or any one of these news channels, do understand that these channels are controlled. The information that is presented is controlled. So the protocol is telling you that they're going to control the press, they're going to control the information that's disseminated to you. You're not going to get the real news. And I think most people are probably aware by now. And if you're not, well, it's time to wake up. Because, like I said in other videos, that it's orchestrated and designed. It's kind of like being the Matrix. It's orchestrated and designed, for you to get the information that only what they want you to know, not the total information, right? You'll never get the real news. So this is what they're saying about the press. So as we continue, it says, we shall saddle and bridle it with a tight curb. That's what they're saying. We shall saddle and bridle, kind of like a horse, right? You saddle up a horse and you bridle it, you put that thing in his mouth, meaning that, bridle in terms of the press is that they will determine, just like you put a bridle in a horse's mouth, is the same way as they're saying they're going to bridle it in terms of the information that is going to be put out there. They're going to be the one that control what is fed to the public. And it says here, we shall do the same also with all production of the printing press. For where would be the sense of getting rid of the attacks of the press if we remain targets for pamphlets and books? So they're saying is that, you know, they will be bridling the press because they don't want, if the press is at liberty, to attack them, to speak about them. So any information that's going to be disseminated, they won't be the target if they're in control of the press. It says the produce of publicity, which nowadays is a source of heavy expense owing to the necessity of censoring it, will be turned by us into a very lucrative source of income to our state. So in other words, the control of the press is actually lucrative. And so they're going to be the one that's controlling, like I said, the dissemination of information. Anything that is going to be packaged and produced for the public is going to be controlled. And you have to understand, in this time period, there's no such thing as the freedom of the press. You know, everything is being controlled. The information that is being fed to you is being controlled. So we shall lay on it a special stamp tax and require deposits of caution money before permitting the establishment of any organ of the press or of printing offices. These will then have to guarantee our government against any kind of attack on the part, you scroll down, the part of the press for any attempts to attack us. If such still be possible, we shall inflict fines without mercy. Such measures are stamp tax, deposit of caution money, and fines secured by these deposits will bring in huge income to the government. So in other words, you go against the government, there'll be fines. You say things against the government, there'll be fines. Now, you might think, well, this is America and we don't do such things. Those only happen in communist companies. But I'm going to show you that the press that or the news channels that a lot of us subscribe to is only owned by about corporations. Six corporations owns all the news here in America. It might be a surprise to some of you guys, it might not be a surprise. But if you haven't known, this is what the protocol is saying. That's what they have put in place and implemented here. Not only just only here, but basically everywhere, because all government practice this sort of control of the press to where any information that is put out there, they're in control somehow. Because these people arms are basically long enough to reach across everywhere, to censor information, to prevent certain information. I don't know if you guys remember Edward Snowden, before Edward Snowden went to Russia. And he was trying to tell us that, the government has been spying, or the government has been listening on Americans. And a lot of us might just write it off, like Snowden is batshit crazy or something like that. But what he was saying was actually true. You know, the government is in control, and it's the same democratic government that talks about democratic principles and all. It is behind the scene, in control of the press, in control of the information that is given to us. So we're not getting the actual news that we're supposed to get. So as we continue, it says, it is true that party organs might not spare money for the sake of publicity, but these we shall shut up at the second attack upon us. No one shall with impunity lay a finger on the aureole of our government infallibility. The pretext for stopping any publication will be the alleged plea that it is agitating the public mind without occasion or justification. So they'll always say that, and this is what they're saying, they'll always say that, well, any information that is put out there for public consumption, you know, we have to make sure that it's not agitating the public. You see, control for them, so long as it's packaged in a way that it sounds like it's in beneficiary for the public. Anything that they will say that whatever information that is put out, if it doesn't sound like it's coming from them, they will say, well, it's not good for public consumption. You're agitating the public. Um, you're telling lies to the public. And a lot of it has to do with them really want to control the flow of information or control information that is put out into the public arena. This is what this is saying. So in bold, it says, I beg you to note that among those making attacks upon us will also be organs established by us, but they will attack exclusively points that we have predetermined to alter. So, in other words, they're in control. It's like control opposition is what this is sound like. So, right here, boldly it says, we control the press. And in 4, it says, not a single announcement will reach the public without our control. Let me read that again. Not a single announcement will reach the public without our control. Even now, this is already being attained by us inasmuch as all news items are received by a few agencies, in whose offices they are focused from all parts of the world. These agencies will then be already entirely ours and will give publicity only to what we dictate to them. See, there's only a few corporations that is, and like I said, 6 corporations that is in the US that control all the media sources. You could tie all these media channels back to a single organization or a single source that owns it. And I'm going to show you in a little small pamphlet, I'm going to show you all the 6 media sources that control all the 6 companies, I mean, that control all the media sources that you see on the television, right? It says, if already now we have contrived to possess ourselves of the minds of the Goy community to such an extent that they all come near looking upon the events of the world through the color glasses of those spectacles, we are setting astride their noses. In other words, it is saying that the Goy is what we're talking about. It's the masses is what they're talking about. And it's saying that they are going to view the world, whichever way how we view the world, it's going to be because they're going to be the one that's bringing us that information. It's going to be through their lenses, right? That's why it says right here, the events of the world through the colored glasses of those spectacles we are setting astride their noses. If already now there's not a single state where there exists for us any barriers to admit us into what the Goy stupidity call state secrets, what will our positions be then? We shall be acknowledged supreme lords of the world in the person of our king of the world. So it kind of get into some esoteric stuff there, but basically in a nutshell, what he's saying that there's going to be no secrets that they're not aware of. There's no nothing. It's like that all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar bill that we are accustomed seeing. That's what they're saying. There's nothing that they haven't permeated that they don't know and they don't see. And it's that something that we haven't come to terms to understand that this is what's actually going on. Most people are in deception of it. Most people are deceived by it. It says, let us turn again to the future of the printing press. Everyone desirous of being a publisher, librarian, or printer will be obliged to provide himself with the diploma instituted thereof. Right? That's the reason why we have to go to school and be educated also by them. Saying if you become a librarian, you have to go to school. They have to educate you on the proper way of disseminating information because they might not want you to release certain things into the public. So you have to be taught how to bring certain information. That's what journalists and all of them who are controlled, they cannot report certain things. They are forbidden. That's the better word to use. They are forbidden to report certain information because they have to go to the master first, right? So the instrument of thoughts will become an educated means on the hands of our government, which will no longer allow the mass of the nations to be led astray in by any ways and fantasies about the blessings of progress. Is there any one of us who does not know these platform blessings are the direct roads to foolish imagines which give birth the anarchical relations of men amongst themselves and towards authority, because progress, or rather the idea of progress, has introduced the conception of every kind of emancipation, but has failed to establish its limits. All the so-called liberals are anarchists, if not in fact, at any rate in thought. Any one of them in hunting other phantoms of freedom and falling exclusively into license, that is, into the anarchy of protest for the sake of protest. Now that's kind of long and lengthy there, but it's just saying that, if you allow people to just go about or allow journalists to go about, printing whatever or say exposing the truth or bringing forth information, that's the reason why that anyone that try to bring forth the truth, is considered anarchist. It's like enemy of the state, right? It's like Snowden, who uh, was trying to put information out there that our government was spying on us and all these different things, and then guess what? He become an enemy of the state. They're gonna try you. They're gonna say that you put out information that is government secret, and you shouldn't have done that. And there might be no precedent as to what you have done, no more than the freedom of the press, and you're putting out information to educate the public. But if it goes against what the government consider to be information that's exposing certain things as to what they're doing are unconstitutional, you become their enemies, right? So this is what this article is really telling you how the press is really operated, right? So I'm going to show you this little clip right here, this little article, and it says the six corporation that own almost all the media. The six corporation that owns almost all the media. So the first corporation is the owner is Summer Redstone. Its net worth is $4.6 billion in net worth, and his media asset. I'm going to show you. You guys might recognize some of these media here. You could see BET Jams, all of BET. Guys familiar with that? You got CBS in there. What else you got? You got Epics, you got Flix, you got MTV, you got MTV Live, you got Nick Jr. What else they got? They got Paramount, got Nicktoons, Wow, you got Spike TV, got Showtime, you got Viacom, you got VH1. So all of these media sources is owned by this guy, Summer Redstone, and it's called National Amusement. It's the name of the company. All right, as we scroll down, and look, even some of the printing sources. Video games will be CBS Games, print will be, I can't read that, Pocket Books. Internet wise, you got TV Guide, you got Max, ZDNet, 24/7 Sports, Games, GameSpot. Okay, so now we have Disney, and the CEO of Disney is Bob Iger, is earning his $44.9 million, and Disney owns these. You got A&E Networks. Of course, you got Disney, ABC. So Disney owned ABC. Got ESPN 2, 3. Basically all the ESPN, including the news. Then you have, okay, more Disney stuff. Lucasfilm. Disney, of course, we know owns Marvel. Disney owns Vice, and so on and so forth. Wow, Disney even owned the Military History Channel. Imagine that. Wow. Okay, and in terms of video games, it shows you a few video games there. In terms of printing press, Disney Edition, Disney Comics. Wow, you got a few things there. And also Lucas Books. Wow. So now we go to Time Warner. CEO is Jeff Bukes. Oh, his annual salary, excuse me, is $32.5 million. And Time Warner, these are some of the things: Adult Swim, Cartoon Networks, CNN, HBO, that's Time Warner, Hulu, TMC, right? You got Mad. What else you got there? You got Warner Brothers. You got TBS in there. Okay, many of the channels that we watch and we're familiar with. Okay, and so there's some other investment that Time Warner is invested in. Wow. Okay, so those were the six, and as you could see, many of the channels that we consume, even with the news, is owned by those six major media companies, or just six major companies that owns basically everything that you consume. So I wanted to show you that the protocols is right. All this um, information that's disseminated, the programs that we watch is really controlled by just a few corporations. And so the information, you can expect the information that you're going to receive is going to be controlled because they own all the news media outlets and the media that you have been consuming. They own all of that. So you would expect that the information is going to be controlled. I was going to say tainted, but I'll use the word control. And so expect that you're not going to get the right information. You're not going to get, like my channel is called, the bigger picture. You're going to get whatever they want you to know. That's basically what it is. So I'm going to end this video. Hope you learned something from this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And do share and do leave your comment in the comment section so I could read your comment and see how you're responding to the video and what you could also share, because it's about sharing information and ideas and presenting you certain facts and information. For those of you already aware of this, just consider it as a refresher. For those of you who don't know, I hope it's an eye opener and you open your eyes to reality of what's going on and the bigger picture. So with that, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.